Hello, I think this is working. Yeah, okay. So, if you watched the last video, which you should probably do, before watching this, I basically went through part 1, and I said essentially everything that went down. So here we are, we're at the start of part 2, and, yeah, let's bring this all together. Of course, if you haven't seen MXW22, you should probably go watch it. I'd really appreciate that. Watch it again. Why not? So, let's get into it. So, as I believe I started last time, let's go for the clip bin, which is this bit over here. Are we? Yep, we're alright. So, you can see some of the audio right now. We have K-Man 2, K-Man P2. These are really weird. Like, I had K-Man record a bunch of stuff. Like, I think some things he recorded twice. Like, I'm not actually sure what the difference between 2 and P2 is. Like, is that 1 second? I'm not really, no, that's 1 minute. I'm not really sure, but I think they're mostly the same stuff. We've got the songs, we've got Champion, Last of the Real Ones, Wrong Side of Heaven, we've got Heartbeat sound effect, which you can see down here. It wants to highlight. I don't think it does. There you go. And then we get into Ultimates audio. Of course, this time we don't have the we don't have all of it, because this was always intended to be like the final part. So everything we've already used, I just didn't bother putting in. It would lag it and everything like that. So we have 5 parts of Ultimate audio here. Oop. And we have Warriors Call. And have I opened the doc? I don't think I have. Shared with me. Oh, there we go. I may have just spoiled the CTV match. I think the font was too small. Let's go for that. I guess I'll release this tomorrow or something. Anyway, so as you remember, the script was all meant to be 1 part, and then it wasn't, because we reached 20 minutes and we thought, you know what, it's probably best to split it here. I feel that I believe I've said this already, but I feel that if we were to have made this one 40-minute long documentary, then it people just wouldn't have watched it. I feel like the fact that it was 20 minutes meant a lot more people watched it, because it was only 20 minutes. If it was 40 minutes long, no one would have watched it. Okay, I'm just waiting for OBS to catch up here. Will it? I'm not entirely sure. But so here we have the script. This is not working. I shall wait. Okay, there we go. So we have the start of part 2, and it's telling me play Champion and then do all of this. Let's go into here. So first, one of the first things you'll notice as we go into this, the font. The font is different. Now, this is actually just the default font for Camtasia. I remember I took a screenshot of my phone. I took a picture of the screen, and I was like, that's the font. I went to put it in, and then, because I was so rushed, I just never actually checked if it worked, and turns out it didn't. So, and then from this I went Control C and Control V, and I copy and pasted it about, so then the font is the same for everything. So, at least it wasn't like one's the wrong font and everything else is right. It's all the wrong font, so that's a bit weird. I'd say I know the song Champion pretty well. I like it. It's a good song in my opinion. So I knew that we could use this bit, the intro, just to keep this bit going. If we do the same intro, essentially, I believe this is exactly the same text as what was in the first part, except from the start of part 1. I think this bit is different. So we go in here, we fade in to Extreme Chaos 2, and then this heartbeat sound effect I didn't actually add in until a lot later in the process. I believe it was like the final night of editing, which was New Year's Eve / early New Year's Day for me, because I'm a sad person. But yeah, I added this in like halfway through. I'm like, I should do that, but then I just didn't get around to doing it until very late in. And then here we have the same commentary line that I recorded. I believe it was on my old mic actually, so it doesn't actually sound as well. realistically I could have recorded this, because at this point I had the snowball. So we have all this, and then we get to about here now, and then we switch to Milky. Now here's the thing, right? If we try to see how I can do this. What I need to do, if I raise this above, then raise this above. Right, so if we extend this clip by, I believe, one more frame is all it takes, then, or a couple more frames at least, you'll see Milky. So of course, that's when we have to switch to here, because if Milky's going to be up in the stands, he can't be the referee of the match, of course. Let me just undo all of that. Okay, so we switch to Milky. I believe this is like a perfect transition, as in, like, it's frame to frame. Like, if you went a frame further in here, you'd see Milky, and then when we come back here, if you went a frame too early before, you would like, you would still see Milky. Like, the pan is just goes back and forth, and that replaces it. So all through this, I believe Champion's playing. I'll probably do a zoom out a bit. And we do all of this, and then we go backstage. Now, one thing that you notice, I guess, is that Ult's name tag is Chezzy Ash. That's because, so usually with /D, which is our disguise plugin, it will hide the name and it will still say the, so like if Ash had done /D Ultimate Guide 22, the name above would say Ult. However, I needed, because the segment was right after his XC match, and of course he is bleeding. Let me find a shot of it. Yep, he's bleeding like on his forehead. I wanted that to carry over, so I had Ash just drew some blood pixels on, I guess, and then put on that skin. So it's not actually a /D, it's just a skin. Of course, if we go into Minecraft, and I might have fixed it by now, but there was definitely a problem where with the what was it, Indiepocalypse set, there was a massive hole in the locker room, just straight up. Yeah, it probably wasn't the best idea to load in US Bank. Oh, I'm lagging like hell now. But it might still be here if I go. Oh. Oh no. Okay, I think we've crashed it personally, but yeah. Okay, so we do this, and then there's actually like a big hole in the locker room, which I can't show you, which is a shame, but oh well. So that's just randomly there. Then we have Ult Talk for a fair bit, and then when we come back, we are at his first title defense. Now, one thing that I think before was pretty forgotten was that he actually defended the title twice. I remember, like, I was talking about title defenses at one point, like not even about NXW 22, and people said he just defended it once, because people remember the pay-per-view defense, the Hardcore Havoc defense, but they don't remember this one, which was a couple KOs before Hardcore Havoc, and I'm not sure if it was rematch. I think it was, I remember the main event was set to be Bobby versus Ult, and Bobby just said, let's make this a title match. So that straight up happened. I believe Bobby actually did audio for me here, and which was pretty nice of him. So he just straight up did some audio. Yeah, it's this. So he sent me on Snapchat or Discord, I forget which. He sent me some audio, which is pretty nice of him. If you have K-Man speaking here, he basically goes, let's make this a title match, which actually doesn't sync up to the chat, but it's like, I don't really care, I guess. Then we have Last of the Real Ones. Now, I could have edited this to the beat, but it's like, I just more wanted to recap the defenses, I suppose. So we've just got a bunch of clips here. This episode is really, like, sorry, this part, I suppose, is really montage heavy, I suppose, because the first part, we have that montage for XC2, which works as like the final sort of battle of the part. But then we have a couple matches that we do here. So we've got this one, which is Bobby versus Ult. Then we go over to here, which is Hardcore Havoc. Now, one slightly annoying thing I believe about this match is that, well, not about the match, but it's more about me. So, what happens at the end is, Love returns from injury. I believe Drix is on the apron ready to take the, hit the Leaping Temptation. So he jumps for it, and then Love takes him out. He curb stomps him, then he grabs him and he throws him backstage. Now, me as a cameraman was, I was focused on Love and Drix, and you can see me because I'm on the staging area here. So I'm focused on watching them, and then I see the Ultimate Injection in chat, and I don't really catch the move. I catch more the aftermath of it, and then I have to kind of deal with this, which is only a minor thing, much like the fire at the Rumble bit. And then we have here I believe it was a fatal 5-way to determine the #1 contender. I'm not actually sure. I'm pretty sure there was something in the script here that I was supposed to do that I ended up not doing. One thing that you will notice about the script, part of the reason why it's so montage heavy is because this script is not split in the middle, right? If you look where it says end of part 1, start of part 2, then look at the bar at the side, it is more than halfway through. It's like, it's closer to 2/3 actually. So we have less content, but we've still got to make around the same length. And so yeah, so we just kind of do. So it's just kind of all part of one. So one thing that I don't think Toadie and K-Man noticed or realised, I think what they were doing is they were checking the MXW wiki, or the wiki, to see what the segments they had to play with. And there was a contract signing. However, that contract signing was on the KO where I believe I was on my way, like, on the first day of my holiday. Because I remember I didn't have data on the plane because I would have been on Mind Chat. And then when I, like, got in with, like, 1% on my phone, I checked and it was, like, right at the end of KO. So, the problem is with the contract signing is that we just didn't have footage of it, and unless we wanted to replicate it, I didn't know what it looked like, so I couldn't be accurate to that either. And then I assume people, I mean, I don't think they would have pointed it out, realistically, but yeah, so of course I recorded audio for this, and then it ended up not, like, actually happening. So then we kind of skipped this bit from Puck winning the match to the narrator. So here we go back into Champion for this. Really because, I mean, for one part, right, we had the last of the real ones for 2 straight matches, and I didn't want to do the third one. I believe we were running out of song time as well. I believe we were going into I can't exactly remember, it was like the breakdown or the bridge to the final chorus, but there was not enough time to put this match under last of the real ones. Also, while replacing a Fall Out Boy song with a Fall Out Boy song bleh, isn't the best idea, it did help switch it up a bit. And then we have this this bit here. Now what you notice is every time someone hits, like, their big finisher, I don't cut immediately. Usually when someone hits the move, it's like they hit the move, cut. But when they hit, like, stuff like the boss breaker, it's like keep playing as if they're gonna have a pin. Like Parker hits the cool knee here, 1, 2, 3, and it's all one cut. It's all one not one cut, like one shot. And then we go into this Dragon B-roll. This is just Dragon Stadium, basically. I believe I recorded this while we were making the doc. There's that other shot of where the camera pans upwards from about here, from looking at the ground. That's the shot from when I was gonna make a documentary on Love and then ended up not doing it. I do believe that I have some audio, because the week after the Rumble, I interviewed him before Knockout about how he felt winning the Rumble and returning from injury and stuff. And honestly, I could probably make, like, a 10-minute video of why I didn't make that documentary and why it would have been amazing, because I think while I didn't know it at the time, the rise and fall of Love's career from the Rumble to XC would have been really interesting, I guess, because you have him, he goes higher and higher and higher. He's got the main event of XC, and then he gets injured days before, and then he loses it all. And so then we have this. Now, if we go to this part, highlights of Ult's match at Heatwave versus Puck Plays, it doesn't tell me a song to use, and frankly, I was a bit bored of using Fall Out Boy songs, and I knew that the viewer, I guess, would be as well. So I had K-Man pick out a song, and this song ended up being really good, I feel. So we have this first shot of Ult walk through gorilla position, and then Parker does it, and then we have him enter, and then we have him enter. Now, one thing that I've actually just noticed right now is that we have this out of order. Like it's Ult, Parker again, and then Ult. Like, if I were to go back, I would have switched those last two, so it's Ult, Parker, Ult, Parker. So then, for this long bit, it's like, let's get ready to rumble. And then we have this, just a stare down, really. And then we basically go for it. Because the first, like, basically shot of the match is that Ruck and Prince are here. So, this is basically a standard, shot for, like, a move per shot. And then, we have this long shot over here. Now, if you remember, just a couple minutes ago, I was talking about how, what happened was when someone uses a big finisher, I don't cut immediately, and that's what I did here, because what happens here, springboards into an ultimate injection, and of course that's his big finisher. That's the move he won the title with in the first place. So I'm keeping it on there to, like, of course everyone knows, or a lot of people will know that Parker wins this match, but it's still effective to keep this shot going, because then, like, it lines up with the other ones that you might see a pin, like, is this it? Like, for someone that theoretically has just watched the documentary and didn't actually know what happened. So this is a bit of a fake out with him rolling out. And then, of course, we get the actual finish here, where he does this. And then, as he fades out, we fade out the music already, then K-Man does this. So we go into the fade, I believe, 1, 2, and 3. Right, and then, I believe this segment might actually be Ash as well. Oh, no, this segment, right, this was actually Ult, but, it wasn't a /D, it was actually, like, that was actually Ult, I believe. And there was, like, a couple other people, like, that Chaos TV guy, I think Matt, Ash was there as well, so I'm like, you know, stand there, eat cake. And, so I don't walk through here, and then I basically found it pretty funny, because he's just, like, staring there. And then, he's staring at something, and you turn around, and there's just, like, 3 guys eating cake. So, I guess it's a bit of visual humour to contrast the, serious nature of losing a title. I mean, people eating cake in the background is just a bit of a running thing, I guess. And then we go to September 22nd, and this is just the opening of Knockout. If I remember, K-Man made the pyro, like, really quickly, actually. It took, like, half an hour max. And then we go into the Wrong Side of Heaven. I didn't know about this song before the doc, and now I really like it. I dig it. So, of course, at this point, Knife Club have dropped the tag titles to Insomniac Army, and then we have them with their title celebration, and then out comes Ult, and then we do this fade out bit, and then when we come back, out comes Drix. So we have this contrast of, like, at this point, the two people you saw fight roughly 12.5 minutes ago are teaming up. About a couple months later in, like, real life or Minecraft life, I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, so I think this is a bit of, we just used a couple shots of their build up. So this was the week after, and Drix hits the moonsault on all 3 of them. I believe this was TXD versus Drix and Ult. I'm trying to think of it. I don't believe they had a special tag team name, but yeah. So we have this match, and then they win the match, because what I wanted is I wanted the drop to be here, to line with the music. Is this gonna play? Might. Yeah, there we go. So right as the chorus starts and it all kicks in, we have the match start, and this becomes like the 4th match recap or montage. And so that happens all there, and then we have this, which is the Beast Unleashed. I believe I don't need to cut it here, but I think it just did in the middle of the shot there. So that was unnecessary, but I believe I cut it and then didn't realise that was the finish. So it was the finish, so we just go over here. Okay, so next we have... okay, so this shot, right? I was really lucky that Sonic's had just not been touched, Sonic's Arena. Like, if you go there, it's still like this. These aren't NPCs. I believe this is Link and Scott. And then, oh wait, no, this isn't Link and Scott. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay. So, the people helping me here are Link, Scott, and Ash. So, Scott and Link are Saints and Wilson. I believe Scott had to get a Wilson skin put on or something, because he was in his Whammon skin, so yeah. So we did that, and then Ash helped us with some pyro that looked pretty cool, and that also went pretty awkward because I guess that technically almost burned Wilson. But yeah, so then this is like taken from the actual show, you can tell, because that's 720p and that is low quality. So then we have Drixen out in the ring, much like it actually happened, and then they did this overstall, which I believe, now I'm not entirely sure about this, but I believe it wasn't actually supposed to happen, but like it did happen. So they overstall this heel turn, and then at the end we have Ultimate talking about it before it happened, and I think it kind of gets the viewer feeling a bit it invokes negative feelings, I suppose, because it's just like they know it's going to happen and we're watching it about to happen, and then there it is, Ultimate L. So then I believe this part is about Milky and Ulk growing closer backstage. So this is just a shot of me going in. These are two NPCs. Milky's in an Assassin's Creed skin. I'm not exactly sure why, but I wasn't about to get someone for an actual shot, so yeah. And then he talks for a couple minutes. I believe this is the one of the longer times. I believe the one where he joins CT and then Milky leaves CT are some of the longest. This one is just over 2 minutes, about 2 minutes a second in length. Mem's eating cake in the background, and that's about it. So finally we're done with the year. Oh yeah, this was at ANZ Stadium. Purgatory actually was taken down because K-Man wanted to hold like an Olympics, but K-Man being K-Man, and that didn't happen. So the these Trons were still up, so I needed to make it like clear that it was Purgatory, but not like obvious that Purgatory had been taken down. So then we go back to this shot of I believe it's Scott and Ash, and then him walking. So this, we are finally back to where we started on the documentary, the 16th of December 2017. And so we start to go in a recap. For this bit, with the end, it's just kind of like, this is a bunch of pyro to set up what would essentially be the closing montage. So we go into the closing montage about 20 minutes in. And sorry, so we have the score only one, right? And for this, I just kind of wanted to recap the entire year, so I wasn't going to recap. I think at Retribution it was just the Ultimate interview with Saints that happened, so that wasn't worth recapping. So, or in my opinion at least, I mean we could have put in a shot, but I decided to go to Last Stand once again, and we show the shot of the Seaway exterior. Then we go in for a Ultimate entrance clip here, and if we skip to just about here, this is the final spot of the night or of the match, I suppose, not of the night, which is an ultimate injection. You can just about see it, but the important part is it's through 2 tables, really. So then we go to the Rumble, and then we play the same clip again. And so we have a bit of ultimate winning here, and then this is a recap that he didn't win the Rumble, that he lost his chance, essentially. And then we go to Extreme Chaos 2. We get blocked away because I don't feel he was relevant in that. I mean, he was relevant. He was in the main event. He was, but in the story of the match, like that wasn't in the script, and that wouldn't have really fit, if you get what I mean, because it's just another loss, and I don't think that adds much to the story, because the story of that match, in my opinion, is more about the Knife Club forming and Boston being taken out, and it leads the way for Puck versus Bust and the Knife Club being around. And Ultimate's just kind of in that match as a case holder, so we could have highlighted the week before where he tried to cash in and Boston disappeared, which I remember happening. Yeah, we play his ending spot again, and then we fade to him defending the title once, and then that's a random cut, defending the title twice, and then he loses the title. So at this point, we've gone through his ups and downs of his title. We're around in August in this montage. And then here's where I believe the most, I guess, symbolism went into it. Because we have Ult and Milky growing closer backstage. And then we have Ult and Drix growing, I guess, closer, in inverted commas, on the stage, like out in front of crowd. And then we see him turning on his friend at Gates to Hell, and then once again we point out that he's a lone wolf, essentially, because at this point Milky's gone, which is what the shot of him and Milky's kind of pointing out. Like, through Puck and Ult, he had no one, whereas Puck had the Knife Club, and it just kind of points out how lonely he can be. And this shot where Scott as Ult actually walks in and out of the curtain, I believe I actually left that in by accident, but it's like, or is that a later shot? Yeah, it's a later shot. This one I did right, but this one is just like saying how alone he is, because this is him alone in a hotel room, just kind of staring out before Extreme Chaos 2, and then this is him at Access, and then if we just scroll a bit further, then we have him and Milky next to each other, and then once again showing how he lost Milky, him alone sitting backstage, and then we have him walking through Gorilla. It's from Heatwave technically, but I used it in a way that connotes it was the Rumble. However, he does have the title on, which is wrong, but I guess it's a minor detail. Then we have him walking out defeated, and in a different pair of tights, actually, not jeans. But he walks in energized, and he comes out defeated out of Dragon Stadium, a moment where he lost the Rumble and he lost his title. And then we show him losing. We've shown that he's had relationships both backstage and on the stage. We've shown him be a lone wolf. We've shown him go through highs. We've shown him go through lows. And here we have him going through lows, where we just have this really slow fade of him having a look. Now, if we go slightly further, you would have seen the cake, and I believe that ruins it. But we didn't. We could have cut it here, actually, where the song actually stops, if you look down here. But I decided not to, just for effect. There was a note about, this shot. This shot is actually too long, because in the original shot, Scott walks in and out of the, the banners, and, that's actually to show how, like, he might be nervous, or he might, maybe be, like, afraid about execution after all the highs and the lows, and all of that's a lie, because I just forgot to shorten the clip, really. So, yeah, that's why that's in there in reality. So, yeah, I don't believe much didn't go to plan in the script, to be honest. Oh yeah, with this bit, the reason why it's not underlined is because simply, it was like past midnight on New Year's Eve, meaning it was New Year's Day, and I was like, oh no, I believe I was rushing to get it done before New Year hit for me, and it was the render that fucked it up, because I had to render this in like 7 different clips of like, so that everything would work and it would render it in small sections, and I stitched them all up and actually put it in. So this isn't underlined. Then we have this credits. At one point I planned to have the credits be his, I believe, independent theme, which is Silas Young's theme. So we would have had this all put in, but in the end, like, it wasn't that I didn't have time, it was that I liked the way this fade worked so well that I decided I'm just going to put this in the video description. And I would like to thank all these people for helping me out. So yeah, that's about it, I guess. It was a lot of work in a short amount of time. Anyway, that's about it. I will see you later.